Let's talk about my absolute favorite A2P 10DLC campaign type, and that is mixed use campaigns, either standard or low volume. So, hi, my name is Will Craig. I'm a co-founder of a company called Signal House. We specialize in connectivity for CRM systems, but we can actually power any connectivity that sends a message from an application to a person. And today in this video, we are going to dig into the specifics of why I am a self-described mixed use campaign aficionado. It's my favorite use case. I think it's perfect for pretty much every single business, unless you need some kind of a special use case, which we talk about in some other videos on our channel. So you can go check those out at your leisure. But the mixed use campaign is just incredible for so many different reasons. And we're going to be digging into that right now. So I know that I said that we'd be digging into it right now, but I want to make sure that we are all on the same page with what 10DLC and A2P really is. So before I get into the specifics, let me break that down super quickly. So 10DLC is 10-digit long code. These are the phone numbers that we all know about. So it's the ones that we use every single day, where the first 3 digits correspond to a local area code in the United States. And then A2P just means application to person. So sending a message from some kind of a software system to a person's handset, and then being able to respond to that message, or actually even initiate that communication from their headset to your application. And so businesses register for 10DLC A2Ps so that they are able to take a normal 10-digit phone number and use that for the purposes of business messaging. And so this A2P 10DLC registration is a 2-step registration process where you register your brand, which is really just your business information. It's verifying that you're able to send messages on behalf of the business that you actually register. So things like your EIN, your legal company name, your type of company, so private, profit, etc. All of that is what is required to actually submit your brand. Now, the second step is the campaign verification, or the campaign registration. A campaign is a use case. So this is what the phone numbers that you're attaching to those campaigns will actually be used for. So whether it's marketing, customer support, account notifications, or for this particular instance, mixed use. So what does mixed use mean? Mixed use essentially just means that you are able to choose one or more different use cases. So you could choose marketing, customer support, account notifications, delivery notifications, etc., all under one single campaign type. Now, the only additional thing that you have to do in this submission is you have to make sure that your call to action and message flow within your campaign submission and the call to action on your website lists all the different ways that you're going to be using that messaging, and giving people the ability to opt in separately for marketing. So if you have marketing as one of your sub use cases, that needs to be a separate call to action or a separate checkbox, for example, on your contact us page. So you could put account notifications and support all in one, but marketing has to be split out as a separate button click or a separate CTA. And then your call to action and message flow, because you're just copying that over, you have the same thing. So you're saying that when someone goes to the website, clicking on the contact us, they see 2 different boxes that they're able to check. First one says this, and then, reference account notifications. Second one says this and reference the marketing component. So that's really the only difference in the actual submission. But what is the benefit? Why am I so in love with a mixed use case campaign? And the answer is because it protects you. It's scalable, and it protects your business from filtering from drift content. And so what is drift content? So this is something that the carriers were really heavily focusing on in 2024, even into 2025. And it's where the use case that you've registered your messaging from does not line up with the messaging that you are actually sending. So let me give you this example. It's the example that I always give, and it illustrates how easy it is to drift from one type of messaging into another type of messaging. And so let's say that I have my campaign set up only for account notifications. So I reach out to my customer and I say, like, successful build notification. So we successfully debited your card for this month's subscription. They respond and they say, hey, Will, thanks so much. I appreciate that. However, I had a question. So not all of my messages are actually being delivered. We're encountering an issue here. And so I respond and I say, okay, great. Can you tell me about what the issue is? And so they let me know that they're seeing some errors in their message deliverability. So I look and I see that they've actually exceeded their throughput, their daily throughput, but they have the ability to request higher daily throughput. So I let them know about that. And I let them know that all they have to do is go through the standard vetting process. It's a one-time $40 charge, and then they can receive a score and their throughput will be whatever it is. It could be 10 times more than what it is right now. So in that one singular correspondence, I have sent an account notification message that transitioned or drifted into a support notification that further drifted into a marketing notification because I mentioned the cost of something and tried to get them to purchase it. Now, it was to satisfy their issue or make sure that their issue wasn't happening anymore, but it was still me marketing a product to them to solve their issue. And solving their issue in and of itself is not account notification, which is what my campaign is registered for. Now, I do want to caveat this because I'm sure there are a lot of people that are watching that have a customer care campaign and they're really, really nervous right now listening to this. Don't be super nervous. You do get a wide brush that you're able to paint with. So the carriers and the direct connect aggregators, or the DCAs, these are the upstream providers from your messaging provider, and they are kind of the gateways between your messaging provider and the carriers. So there's only 4 DCAs in the US. Signal House, by the way, we are connected to 3 of them for redundancy, but that's not super important for this, but I just want to make sure that you are aware of that. And so they understand that a well-meaning message could drift a little bit in that specific scenario. They're not going to shut your campaign down, or they shouldn't shut your campaign down for that. However, they are looking for patternistic behavior. So if you have a pattern of registering something for account notifications and then only blasting out marketing messages, you will have your campaign shut down. That will happen. And so having that mixed use just protects you because it gives you multiple different use cases. And so there is one big difference between mixed uses though, and that is the volume you're actually able to send. So we have a mixed use low volume and a mixed use standard volume. And so this is where I really dig in. My favorite is the low volume mix, but of course it's only if it's available for you to use. And that is if you are sending less than 6,000 segments a day, use your low volume mixed campaign. It's going to save you $8.50 a month. And you won't notice any difference throughput wise because that's the only difference between the low volume mixed and the standard. So let's dig into the throughput and let's actually list out what that throughput is. For the standard normal mixed use campaign, this is split into the 3 different carriers. We don't get any information for Verizon, so it's just not public. So we only have AT&T and T-Mobile. Now, here is the rule of thumb. AT&T throughput is always going to be messages per minute. So how many messages you're actually able to send per minute. Whereas T-Mobile is always going to be daily segments. And so for standard, you're looking at 240 SMS per minute with AT&T, and you're looking at 150 MMS per minute with AT&T, and that's on standard. So it's going to be 2,000 segments for T-Mobile on standard, but it's also going to be 2,000 segments for T-Mobile on low volume. So it's exactly the same for T-Mobile. The only difference is AT&T. So on low volume, it's going to be 75 SMS per minute for AT&T, and it's going to be 50 MMS per minute with AT&T. And again, it's the same 2,000 segments for T-Mobile. And so the difference between low volume and standard is that for low volume, you are always locked into those values. So you're always going to be sending 2,000 segments a day to T-Mobile. You're always going to be having a hard cap of 6,000 segments each day. And you're always going to have the 75 SMS per minute and the 50 MMS per minute. Now, if you have a standard campaign, you can go through what's called standard vetting. Standard vetting looks at things like your age of your company, how many employees you have, Better Business Bureau rating, any outstanding litigation, etc. And it assigns you a score between 1 and 100. Now, these scores work in bands of 25 digits. So 1 through 24, you're going to see no change. You're going to have the same throughput that you did before. 24 to 49, T-Mobile will increase. So if you remember, T-Mobile is going to be 2,000 per day on standard and 2,000 per day on low volume. But if you have a score between 25 and 49, it's going to be 10,000. So it's the only thing that increases, but it will increase to 10,000. If you go from 50 to 74, you're going to see T-Mobile increase even more to 40,000 segments per day, while AT&T 10x's essentially. So it's going from 240 to 2,400 SMS per minute. And for MMS, it's going from 150 to 1,200. So not quite 10xing, but fairly close. And then the biggest increase, 75 to 100. T-Mobile is increasing to 200,000 daily segments. AT&T increasing to 4,500 SMS per minute, 2,400 MMS per minute. So that's the difference between low volume and standard. Is at low volume, you're locked in to that 75 SMS per minute, 50 MMS in 2,000 for T-Mobile. Whereas for the standard campaign, you can definitely increase that. And so why do I say if you are sending less than 6,000 segments a day, go low volume? It's because if you're sending more than 6,000 segments a day, those additional segments will fail because you are limited to 6,000 per day with the low volume mix. Now, what if you're on the bubble? This is what I always say. This is the final thing. So I always say if you're on the bubble, it is how many contacts or how many unique individuals you are adding each day. If it's 100 or more, go with the standard because you will eventually increase that through just normal conversations with the people that you're adding each day. If you're adding less than 100, I still think low volume mixed is totally okay for you. So anyway, I hope this video was super helpful. If it was, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. Let us know in the comments what additional topics would be super helpful for you. We upload 5 times a week, everything messaging, everything within the messaging ecosystem. Go ahead and check our website out if you're interested in the products that we have. It's signalhouse.io. Reach out to me directly with any questions you might have for me personally. It's will@signalhouse.io, and we will see you in the next video.